Coming up tonight,
the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, I believe, and this is pretty strong, is prepared to watch NIB collapse.
The F&M chairman and former health minister says that by 2028, NIB will be in a deficit by more than $100 million a year. Eleuthera Outlook reveals that the island will soon receive a much-needed medical facility, and a Junkanoo soldier is remembered. Welcome to our News Weekend Edition. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Megan Shepard. Free National Movement Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands weighing in on the current state of the reserve funds within the National Insurance Board. Sands calling for a financial audit from the years 2019 through 2021, adding that he believes that the reality of the situation would require a national conversation and bipartisan approach to correct.
There ought to be no reason why every man, woman, and child in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas who is invested in NIB, as we all are, why they shouldn't know exactly what the state of affairs, what's in the kitty. And I believe that when people know what the real state of affairs of NIB happens to be, there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Sands says he and his colleagues in opposition would be willing to work to address the current state of affairs. However, he believes this current administration would not be as willing.
Right now, governments are continuous. And if this administration doesn't deal with NIB, I will say that they are reckless and irresponsible.
But they will say the same thing about your administration. You all should have dealt with it. It can be the same kickback.
That's fine, but you are now faced with a problem that is a serious issue, and you have to deal with it. So the idea that it's going to solve itself, but it is going to be some creative solution to it, is rubbish.
Member of Parliament for South and Central Eleuthera and Minister for Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs Clay Sweeting in his keynote presentation at the Eleuthera Business Outlook, saying one of the greatest needs for residents on that island is access to more healthcare facilities.
The Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Darville, along with his technical team, has visited Eleuthera and has committed to building not one, but 2 state-of-the-art medical facilities on Eleuthera. One of those facilities in Palmetto Point, which will have a small surgical ward, and one of those will be in my hometown of Rock Sound.
He adds that basic infrastructure throughout the island remains a challenge.
I continue to meet with and lobby to the Minister of Public Works to ensure that the basic of infrastructural needs are consistently supplied throughout the island. This is inclusive of electricity, water, roads, signage, streetlights, seawalls, and secure docking facilities and marinas.
As for education, the minister says the plan is to focus on academic and technical opportunities.
I give a huge congratulations to the Center for Training and Innovation for filling the gaps and focusing on adult learning. Over the next 3 years, I hope that through partnerships with the Ministry of Education, we are able to launch a full extension of BTVI and a satellite campus for tertiary institutions right here in Central and South Eleuthera. We must continue to invest in the education of our youth and also offer platforms to diversify the opportunities for everyone.
He notes that the Hatchet Bay Packing House recently reopened to further invest in farmers.
And we will be installing a processing kitchen before the end of the year to ensure that produce not fit for market can be processed into value-added products like jams, jellies, dried fruit, chips, purees, etc. For a long time we have spoken about this, and we must realize that we cannot waste our products, and we must be committed to ensuring that every farmer has a market for sale for their products locally, regionally, and hopefully to the export markets where feasible.
Officials in the Ministry of Agriculture will soon embark on a program throughout the country where food kitchens will be opened to allow farmers to bring and utilize their crops. A similar program is already in place by the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation. However, Agriculture Minister Clay Sweeting told the media this week that his ministry will seek to enhance the same. He explained how it all will work.
The Ministry of Agriculture is also working towards placing food kitchens in a strategic approach across the country. So these food kitchens will assist farmers who have produce that is rotting or produce that cannot be sold to the packing house. And we understand the need to adding value to our product here. So the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources will help facilitate that.
And the minister explained that BAIC will take on a major role for this initiative.
BAIC will play an intricate role in the training throughout these food kitchens so that Bahamas will we're not only providing ways for farmers to farm, but also persons who want to get into the production, food processing, whether it's jams, jellies, or different canning, ketchups, will be able to do this in these food kitchens throughout the Family Islands.
Still to come on our news, amid a slew of traffic road accidents, the police are now cracking down on those who choose to drive dangerously. Plus, the Junkanoo drums are heating up. The Valley Boys pay tribute to a fallen soldier. And from February 24th until the present, Russia continues to bombard Ukraine. That's coming up when our news returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Shamika.
You're watching our news. Welcome back. Police are promising a crackdown on dangerous driving. Deputy Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernander.
That's the way that we will be moving forward, not just killing in the cars. Some of these drivers out there just recklessly and just taking people's lives just like that and walk away.
Head of the Police Force's Traffic Division, Chief Superintendent David Lockhart, praised new legislation that allows for stiffer penalties for traffic fatalities.
For a number of years, there was outcry from the public that persons were charged with killing the cause of dangerous driving, and they were just able to pay a fine of $10,000 and walk away. Under the new road traffic amendment, it is now a jail time of 5 to 15 years. So persons who have been involved in accidents and they found to be found at fault for the accident, they can be charged under the old section, which is killing the cause of dangerous driving, or under the new section of vehicular manslaughter. In that particular piece of legislation, if you're found to be driving without insurance or disqualified license or not the holder of a license, you're able to be charged with vehicular manslaughter.
The legislation to increase the penalties for drivers who kill in the course of dangerous driving came into force after being passed in Parliament nearly 2 years ago. An appointed day notice was tabled in the House of Assembly in mid-March to advise that the Road Traffic Act was brought into force on February 9th, 2022. Earlier this week, a woman who allegedly knocked down a pedestrian and kept going was charged with vehicular manslaughter. She was the first person to be charged under the amended legislation, according to police. Germany now says it will, for the first time and after weeks of internal strife and harsh international criticism, send anti-aircraft weapon systems to Ukraine to help fight off Russia's invasion. Defense Minister Christina Lambrecht made the announcement at a meeting of defense and military leaders on Tuesday in Ramstein, Germany. Some good news in all of this. Russia and the U.S. have swapped prisoners, securing the release of former U.S. Marine Trevor Reed. Reed was jailed in 2020 on assault charges stemming from a night out drinking in Moscow the previous year. U.S. President Joe Biden said the negotiations that allowed Trevor Reed to be freed required difficult decisions that he does not take lightly. Reed was swapped out for a Russian jail for drug dealing. And when our news comes back from the break, they are making robots and building computers. They are smart kids, and they're right here making a difference in the Bahamas. Generation Next showcases their talents up next. And a program that makes a difference in the lives of young people. Our Jerome Sawyer was on the beat. He has the details when we return.
Got size at 6'5".
Hi, this is Salute.
In this Generation Next segment, we highlight a group of young students that are making waves in the technology field, from coding to programming and even building robots. This group of young people at the International School of Business, Entrepreneurship and Technology will surely leave you impressed.
This is called a make block robot. This is the one that we actually built on our own, and there are different settings you can use with it, but we normally use this one with the joystick because it's easier to use and control. So yeah, if I put it on the floor now and I use the joystick, for me many people say that it's hard to use, but for me it's not that hard.
And have you ever wondered what makes your computer tick? Well, 8th grade student Kamani Claire is sure to let you know. He says he aspires to be an engineer, but for now, he enjoys taking apart desktop computers.
In computer science, we don't just learn about computers. We learn about coding, robotics, so on and so forth. But in my opinion, I do believe that learning about the computers was the most fun. We took apart a desktop computer. We looked inside of it, and we put it back together.
11th grade student Lanique Thompson already ahead of the game as an entrepreneur. Not only is she gifted in the hair and makeup department, she says the school helped push her to start a mask business.
I really wanted to focus on entrepreneurship because I want to start my own hair, clothing, and makeup business. And at my old school, it really wasn't catering to what I wanted to do. So the transition here was very smooth, and it helped me to really tip into my passion. Well, right now, since we had to I guess you can say we had to sell something, I didn't use my hair business. I started a mask business. It's called Neek Smile Safety. So I sell face masks. And right now I'm trying to upgrade my business to customize face masks.
If you're ready for the next popular game, that's sure to keep you entertained for hours. 11th grade student Robert Lewis is already honing his skills in programming.
We can learn how to code games. We've been coding a game called Flappy Bird. We've been coding basketball games. We've been coding fighting games and stuff. We've been learning so much. Even learn how to edit our own videos and stuff. I even made a video for our upcoming business week here at ISBET. And we just been learning so much things here.
And one thing they all have in common, they say they hope more and more young people will see the benefits of staying ahead in the technology era. Violent crime among school-aged children is steadily rising. It makes the work of organizations that work with these kids so much more important. Tonight, our Jerome Sawyer introduces us to a program that is making a difference in the lives of our kids and in need of your help.
A 2016 survey of prisoners showed a majority of graduates from the C.C. Sweeting High School. No wonder that 8 years ago, when the Young Life organization branched out from Grand Bahama, they chose C.C. Sweeting. It's a Christian-based organization using the gospel to reach young people.
Just talk about life. A lot of the kids go through a lot of, issues at home, and they have a lot of questions about life and, what that next step is. And so we do a lot of mentoring, coaching, tutoring.
Organizers seek to make it a structured, well-rounded program that addresses every aspect of adolescent development. And in the 20 years since it started, they've seen the success.
We've seen where they now become more motivated to do something with their life. So we've had kids who applied to BTVI, UB. We've had kids who, didn't really want to go and look and find a job because they were so discouraged because of their situation, but through us helping them through the one-on-one calls and meetings, they were able to find jobs and become a bit more stable.
12th grader Kareem Gray is into his 3rd year as a Young Life participant.
I'm a stay-at-home person, so I would just stay at home, do whatever, come to school, go back home. So to interact, as a head boy, I need that. So that would be a good thing for me to do.
While his classmate, Ebony Stewart, recently joined.
Knowing that a lot of children live in homes that cannot provide or live in homes that they go through daily struggles on a basis, this club can provide help or just encouragement to them to allow them just to stay up above the water.
The organization depends on public donations to fund their weekly meetings, outings, and annual summer camp. Starting May 1st, they begin their annual Walk for Hope fundraiser to try and take 100 kids to camp at a cost of $300 each.
We target unchurched, disinterested kids. So we go into the schools, we go into their lives, and we just live life with them. We are the Bible for them.
For more information and to donate, visit bahamas.younglife.org. Reporting for our news, I'm Jerome Sawyer.
Happy Foods 242 is set to kick off its 16th season this weekend. Since October 2014, the Our TV original has been bringing delectable dishes to TV screens across the country, and the show's longtime host says this season will be no different. She also says this season will be the first time an episode was shot internationally.
More good food, more fun, more laughs with the team in general, and then also we would have traveled outside of the Bahamas for the very first time in the show's history, so that's going to be exciting. In fact, that episode will air tomorrow.
Now the new season kicks off this Saturday at 7 p.m. on Our TV channel 212 and will feature 7 episodes. Laurel says keeping the show going during the pandemic took innovation.
The pandemic hit, we were already about 70% finished with the season for 2020, well, the first part of 2020. So we try to always shoot in advance. Obviously, as we went through 2020, restrictions would have started to loosen, then they tightened again, then they loosened again. So the pandemic really didn't hurt us. What hurt us the most was that a lot of places were closed. So we found that in season, that would have been 14, let's say 13, 14, and 15, we did a lot of home shows.
Don't forget to tune into Our News Presents Spotlight on Digital Transformation with host Kendino Knowles this Sunday at 8 p.m. The show delves into the economic impact of COVID-19 and how it forced digital transformation in the public and private sector. That's this Sunday at 8 p.m. You don't want to miss it. Here's a sneak preview.
Speaking of COVID-19, so COVID-19 strikes, and Craven is a new venture for you, as you just said. And were you at that time concerned about its future?
Well, I was only 6 months in. I had total confidence in the business model. I knew it would work. So I wouldn't say I was concerned about the business itself. However, I was concerned about us keeping up with the business. The first 6 months, we were growing steadily on a week-to-week basis. But when COVID hit, we quadrupled in terms of volume, in terms of sales. And it was rewarding, but it was also challenging.
I was going to say, it must have been exciting having that kind of movement,
extremely rewarding at the time.
Coming up after the break, we are going to take a trip down to Kamalami Place with our Gene Joseph. And he ain't heavy, he's our brother. Valley Boys pays tribute to a fallen soldier. That's coming up when Our News returns. Welcome back to our news. A common cry from many Nasuvians is that there isn't anything to do on the island, but Renaissance man Rick Carey has created a space for all artists and lovers of art to meet under the Kamalami tree. Our Jean Joseph has more from Kamalami Place.
Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci were great artists, but the Bahamas has its own Renaissance man, Rick Carey, who has brought his love of music and art into one space, Kamalami Place.
Hi, my name is Rick Carey. I am a recording artist, lead singer of Bahamen, music producer, and now business owner of Kamalami Place.
Rick Carey, a solo artist and frontman for Bahamen, has a new event space, Kamalami Place, at the intersection of Soldier Road and Kennedy Subdivision. He says the many beautiful things he has seen throughout his travels influenced his concept and inspired him to bring the best of it all to our backyard.
So I kind of like got inspired to want to do something here in Nassau that is different, stand outish from apart from everybody else. It's something that definitely includes music and arts and everything that I am as an individual and as an artist and a producer.
Rick says he understands the unique needs that many creatives have, and he built a venue that matched their creative visions with mass appeal.
For me, it was always about trying to find a medium between music and art at a venue. What I would want to see a local band setting in an outdoor environment that's comfortable and safe enough for everybody to come and enjoy and support and listen to music, have food, drinks in a very beautiful garden atmosphere with art around, and you just feel like you're a part. You walk into this area and you just feel like you're someplace not here.
Carey has put in a massive effort, pouring in blood, sweat, tears, and money into Kamalami Place to make it what it is today. But he says the sky is the limit, and he is excited about what is to come.
So the future for Kamalami Place is, for me, what I envision when I am finally done with all the construction of it. I definitely see this as an event hub for music. I see it more geared towards that. You can still go ahead and do stuff towards the arts, or the visual arts, I should say, but I see this geared towards music.
And here's how to follow Rick's musical journey and the growth of Kamalami Place.
Well, if you want to follow Rick Carey, the producer and the artist, you can follow me on all social media platforms as Rick Carey. IG is official Rick Carey. You can check out all my latest music. You go on SoundCloud, you check out my YouTube page. And then if you want to do any type of business or inquiries, you can contact Kamalami Place. That's Kamalame, okay? Like how Bahamians say it, not the scientific way. You could just follow Kamalami Place on IG, follow them on Facebook, and email kamalamiplace@gmail.com. Check it out.
And that's a look at the art and entertainment scene this weekend. We hope you get a chance to enjoy the space soon. I'm Jean Joseph, reporting for R News Arts and Entertainment.
Here's a look at weather for the remainder of the weekend and the days ahead.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up!
Chief Petty Officer Dwayne Heavy Bethel was laid to rest in full military form yesterday. However, just on Tuesday evening, the world-famous Valley Boys paid a tribute to the fallen soldier in the form of his love for the cultural arts, Junkanoo.
and friends gathered at Centerville Park on Tuesday to pay their respects to dedicated Valley Boy member Heavy D. Bethel. Always the life of the party, Heavy died suddenly while carrying out his duties at the Defense Force. Captain Pinder, Deputy Commander of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, was at the memorial and brought condolences on behalf of the Commodore of the force.
He loved the Defense Force. The Commander of the Defense Force, Commodore Dr. Raymond King, on whose behalf I'm speaking, and Mrs. King. Certainly the entire Royal Bahamas Defense Force family. We sincerely extend to his family, both immediate and extended in the Valley Boys, sincerest condolences and our continued support. Heavy's memory will live on.
Chairman of the Valley Boys, Brian Adderley, not only paid tribute to Heavy, but commended all those first responders who worked tirelessly through the pandemic and all those Valley Boys who received their eternal wings before Heavy.
I come tonight to give condolences on behalf of the Valley Boys, to the Bethel family, and to thank you as well for Heavy's service. Let me just take an opportunity also to pay a tribute to the Defense Force and all of the disciplined forces who are held present this evening. You have done the country well, including Heavy, in bringing us through this pandemic.
As many who spoke before Adderley mentioned, Tina Bethel was the dedicated wife of a Marine and a Junkanoo lover. She spoke to our news after the memorial.
He would have been married for at least about 24 years upon his death. And one thing I can say is that he was very, very, very dedicated to the Valley Boys. He always was there during their rush out. He paced at home in the camp, and he took his two girls with him into the shop. And then there were moments, well, as you can know, he died on his job, and the job is something that he loved very dearly. And it does me my heart glad to see what is happening for him tonight, and I'm very, very appreciative for all the love and support. And this is Heavy.
After all the speeches and well wishes, the Valley Boys threw down a parade that showed the love they had for a man who they could always count on to be there at the lineup. In all of this, we discovered he wasn't really Heavy. He was our Junkanoo brother. Lined up for our news, this is Tanya Smith-Cartwright.
And we thank you so much for joining us for our News Weekend edition. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepard. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.